I've got some tough news for you,
Okay.
listeners, viewers. Georgia football is dead.
Oh,
Eh,
wow.
we we've been overtaken by
Mm,
several other programs. We are officially there's no pulse left. All the good players are gone.
mm.
Georgia football is hang on. No, wait, no. No, it turns out Georgia football's just fine. I guess we'll talk about that today on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome back. Today's episode of Locked On Bulldogs is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel.com/lockedon. More on them in a moment. Daniel hinted at it, didn't just hint at it, told you straight up, no, Georgia's just fine. And all y'all demise has been greatly exaggerated. The death, the Clemson 2.0, the Kirby Smart can't coach, and Dabo, and the whole thing is, in a
How many
word,
we're gonna go through this? Mark Rick 2.0.
oh my
It's
gosh.
Dabo 2.0. Like when we just gonna get there, it's Kirby 1.0. That's it. One of
And he's
one.
one of one. Like,
Yeah, that's right.
that's it. We're going to talk about this signing class, what we have, what we've gotten, and some major news late in the day that just tickled everybody fancy.
It just you love to see it.
You
You love
do.
to see good things happen to good people,
You
and that's exactly what happened today.
That's exactly right. So let's recap for the good people. The signing class, which by the way, it's very, very weird in this era of NIL, in this era of flips are still going to come, but they're much more high profile flips that are kind of
Mhm.
oddities at this point. But for the most part, it's kind of dull. Signing day is now dull. Daniel, we had everybody signed up except for KJ before lunch. We got out, breakfast was served, and just everybody's like, yeah, no, let's sign. Let's get everybody on here.
Yep.
Which is really weird because the best quarterback in the nation leaves your program. You would think that
Mhm.
weapons and other
Oh, no,
recruits.
top receiver, Nitro Tuggle, he probably said to himself, I don't know about that. I don't know. Best quarterback in the world leaves. I probably might want to look elsewhere. No, he fine. He coming on in. He
See,
just fine.
it's weird when you have nothing better to talk about. You'll talk about the most ludicrous things in the world instead of trusting your eyeballs to what Kirby has done already at
Yeah.
Georgia. That's
Yeah, let's
what
start
I
with the
think.
big news, though, Clint. Obviously,
Yeah.
KJ Bolden flips his
Ooh.
commitment from Florida State to Georgia. Five-star safety out of Buford. That's right. I said Buford. Georgia, Georgia was always going to be the place for KJ,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it wasn't, and it was kind of a blow
It
to the
was a
Georgia
blow.
fan base earlier. We had talked about this many times. We lost on Caleb Downs last year to Alabama, and then you have KJ Bolden in the fold, and then all of a sudden you lose that commitment, and you start thinking to yourself like, oh, that's at the same position, the number one safety back-to-back years. You feel like you had him and then you didn't have him. But KJ, lo and behold, comes home. In the end, it seemed like it was never going to be Florida State. It seems like it was down to Georgia and Auburn in the end. Hugh Freeze made a strong push.
Did
I'm
did he?
sorry. I'm
Did
sorry.
he?
I'm sorry. I
Did he?
tried. I gave it a shot, guys.
Okay.
I'm trying to be
Hugh
professional.
Freeze, like, you're
Hugh
doing some
Freeze.
things well,
Hugh
Hugh,
Freeze went out there and he shot his shot
but
with
you're still
KJ
Hugh
Bolden,
Freeze.
but it did not land. KJ Bolden is a dog, number one prospect in the class in terms of safeties.
What state is he from, by the way?
He's from the state of Georgia,
Okay,
which is
thank you.
which is the same state that the University of Georgia is located in.
Great, just making sure.
Yeah, we'll check that facts later. We'll fact check all that later. Don't worry. We'll have Michael run it through all the algorithms and matrices and see if it checks out. Um, It's a huge pickup for Georgia, not just because KJ Bolden is a tremendous player, which he is a tremendous player, but it's a huge pickup for Georgia because it's a position potentially of incredible need. Obviously, we talked about on yesterday's show, we don't know what's going to happen with Javon Bullard, with Tyke Smith, but we could potentially be looking at a situation where all of a sudden the safety position's very thin. And so, Clint, you got to be thrilled about a pickup like this.
Absolutely thrilled. You said it. We don't know a word from anybody yet, but we have seen Aguero, who has had hit and misses. He has athleticism, but again, SEC.
He's a freshman coming in there. Yeah.
But Daniel, look what Malachi Starks was as a freshman.
That's right.
KJ could be this year as a freshman. I don't care who comes back. Like, hear me. Bullard,
Yeah.
I love you all.
Yeah.
You're not that cat.
You're
not AJ. This is a huge get. He is absolutely athletic beyond belief. He has physical talents, physical ability, ball skills. If you heard him, he sounds like he's already in the program, which is fantastic. We hear he's going to early enroll, so he'll be there.
Yep.
Next
week. A hot minute.
So, okay, that's great. When we look at this kid and you look at what he does, he said in an interview, I came to Georgia because it gives me the best opportunity to get to the NFL.
Oh, is that what people want to do?
That's what people want to do.
Is that what people want to do?
That's what people want to do. You want to get to the top of your game in the chosen profession that you care most about and get developed and showcase yourself in order to do so, to make that bag even greater in the NFL.
I see that. No, I see now. Now that you say it out loud, I see that it makes
Doesn't it
sense.
make a lot more sense? So this is what he's saying. This is why he committed, because Kirby gives him the best opportunity and the best chance to do that.
It's a huge pickup for Georgia. It's fun to get a flip on signing day. Kirby's been notorious for this over his tenure at Georgia. KJ Bolden, there's a lot more to say about him. We'll talk about the prospects of, is it potential that he could start coming up this year? There's so many things for us to discuss about him. But there's other people in this signing class that we need to talk about as well. And we're going to get to all of those things and more right after this.
And this is, in fact, LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn.com/LockedOnCollege. Post your job for free. Here's what you do. You go on over to LinkedIn.com/LockedOnCollege. You post who you're looking for on your team. Maybe you need somebody that does know a matrices of algorithms. I don't know. If you're not good with numbers, you need somebody good with numbers. Okay. You need somebody good with tech. You need somebody good with visual and arts and graphics.
Maybe you're trying to control a certain airspace and you need to bring somebody in that specializes in no-fly zones. So you would work on that. You would
just go get the top corner, the 8th best corner, and the top safety, and then you'd get another safety in the top 5. LinkedIn is the Kirby
place
Smart
you go to get those
of career placement. Get the right person for the right team, your team. LinkedIn.com/LockedOnCollege. Post your job for free right now.
Clint, the number one class, and I do not mean to
I think you do
sound overly braggadocious here.
No, he does. Here we go. Okay. Yep.
But it's not particularly close. Okay. No. Sometimes you squeak one out.
Yeah. It's one. And then your leftovers.
Yeah.
And then Bama.
Let me tell you. You tell me, actually, what metric do you want to use to rate the number one overall class? Do you want to go total, talent composite? Yes, Georgia has the number one overall class. Do you want to go average ranking per commitment? Yeah, Georgia still has the number one overall class in that field as well. So, yes, Georgia signs 28 players. That's more than some programs signed. But if you break it down on a per recruit basis, Georgia still comes out with the highest rated average recruit and we signed more of them than anyone else, and they were better than everyone else's. So let me just be clear. Georgia got the best players, and they got the most best players.
That's
and
wild.
That is how you say Georgia has the number one overall class amid all of this talk about Bama has broken Georgia. Kirby Smart is done. It's the Cinderella run is over. Georgia's getting decimated in the transfer portal. There's something wrong in Athens. Let me just say, there's nothing wrong in Athens according to the number one overall corner.
Yep.
The number one overall linebacker.
Justin Williams.
The number one overall safety.
KJ.
And the number one overall punter. That's 4 positions in which Georgia signed the best available player in all of America. And that's not according to one recruiting service. That's according to any recruiting service that you might look at. 3 defensive positions that Georgia signed the best available overall player. Not only that, they get a guy like Chris Cole, number 3 overall linebacker in the country. There's tons of talent. It keeps on going. Some really interesting wide receiver prospects in this class. We talked yesterday a little bit about a couple of these D-line prospects in this class and what we might see out of them. You've got an elite tight end. Another elite tight end is coming to Athens. 3 running backs are coming to Athens. Clint, where do you want to go? Like, who jumps off the page to you in terms of this signing class? I'll let you talk about who you want to talk about this segment. I've got somebody to talk about next segment.
What's really interesting to me, if you look past previous years, it was long, athletic freaks on the edge who we went after. Many of them are in the portals. Many of them haven't worked out, or many of them have gone on. But it was long, athletic.
Some freaks. Of them are named Michael Williams and are still right here and are the best of all of them.
There you go, right here, and got the most playing time because all of these things. Again, performance matters. It's really weird how that happens. But I can just keep talking hypothetically. Like, I should be good, and because I should be good, you should love me.
You should.
Please
love me. Please.
Justin, please love me. So that was previous years. This year, Kirby said, okay, hey, we did that. We got some guys in here. We're going to keep them. We're going to keep trying. How about we take our attention, we put it to the secondary? And how about we just go get 2 top 8 corners and 2 top 8 safeties in their position? And how about we have lockdown guys that could see playing time immediately? And if you look at how this transfer portal has gone, and if you look at the another key point that I want to talk about after this is the offensive line. If you look at the offensive line after the signing day, did you see how many people hit the portal after that, Daniel? Because UGA has new portal entries based upon the guys that were signed. And we had secondary guys that were leaving before all of this happened because, and this isn't thinking, this isn't tinfoil hat, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
You play right away if you can. And if you can get there 3 years, you can secure a bag, you can get developed, you can have all things. Carson Beck, you play. The best players will play.
Yep.
Kirby knew who he was signing. And he knew looking at this, Ellis Robinson, he's going to see the field. Okay?
He's going to. He's one of those guys.
Okay. Bolden is going to see the field. Now,
he's going to play.
These guys will play. And you saw the ripple effect where other people like, well, we've tried, we got here. And Kirby said, you can stay here, you can develop, we can get you going, you can turn into Shannon Tyndall, or go seek employment elsewhere. And they went and sought employment elsewhere. JDJ goes to Kentucky, guys like that, which, oh man, just I've never felt better about our chances against Kentucky after I see all this happening. But I digress. I'll get to that more. The secondary is an abject nightmare for opposing teams now, Daniel, with Kirby Smart being that guy who can coach them up. Will Muschamp coaching them up. It's going to be them dogs as hell all of a sudden, all over again in the secondary.
It's absolutely right. DeMello Jones, Andre Evans, like these you put them with guys like Ellis Robinson, KJ Bolden, and like there's the depth and the talent of this secondary class is it's going to be significant for years to come, and it's quite honestly, it's a position of great need for the University of Georgia, because listen, not all guys hit, not all these guys hit.
They're a
And
lot
you,
of
yeah, absolutely. You look at guys like Nyland Green. Nyland Green comes in 5-star. Little old 3-star Kamari Laster just flies right past him on the depth chart. And, you know, that's all she wrote. And like you see that over and over and over again. We saw that with Stevenson. We saw that with so many guys who have come through the program. Not all these guys are going to hit, but that's why it's important to bring in so much talent and not rely on one or two guys to try to assume that that's what's going to get you over the top, because that's just not how this process works. So, yeah, I agree with you. The secondary is absolutely stacked. It is loaded with talent, and I cannot wait to see these guys hit the field. I've got some more players that I'm looking at specifically. I'm going to look at one position group, and I'm going to say some things that might come as a surprise to you in the third segment. But if you're part of the 199, I'm sure you'll stick around and pay attention. If not, we'll see you guys later. But we'll be back right after this.
And this is the aforementioned FanDuel, FanDuel.com/locked-on. Daniel, they're fantastic. And here's why. Because you like betting, I like betting, and they're a sports book, and we like making every moment more. And the weather is getting colder for some of the country.
It is.
Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets when you place a winning $5 money line bet. So you just go over there, you say Niners to win. That's all you need to do. Niners to win. Just lay that down.
Falcons to lose. These are all bets you could make.
Team playing the Falcons to win.
Yep.
That's $150 if that happens, when that happens.
When it happens.
Bonus bets right into your account. You've been thinking about joining FanDuel? There's no better time to get in the action. The app is so easy to use. Wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. FanDuel.com/locked-on. Keep that NFL season going. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
All right, Clint.
Yes.
I want to talk about the running backs.
Yes, sir.
Because Georgia signed 3 in this class. They signed Nate Frazier, they signed Dwight Phillips out of Mableton, and they signed Chauncey Bowens out of Florida, Nate Frazier out of California. So we went ahead and just spread the net wide, and we said, if you're a great back, why don't you come on to Georgia? And Georgia got not 1.
No.
Not 2.
Keep going.
But 3 great backs in this class. And I'm here to tell you, we all know that Georgia's got some departures at the running back position, right?
Yep.
Kendall Milton, he's gone. Dejan Edwards, he's gone. We all know that Branson Robinson, Andrew Paul, and Roderick Robinson all return. We've seen great things out of all 3 of those guys. We have a lot of optimism and expectation for all 3 of those guys. I'm here to tell you that I don't know which one it is, but at least one of those guys is getting passed and left behind. At least one, and I'm here to tell you, it might be 2 of these freshman running backs are going to be in the top 3, and they're going to be getting significant carries for the University of Georgia this year. I don't know how Branson's going to come back from the injury, but if Branson comes back 100% from the injury, I think he's going to be the one next year. But we don't know that. That's a big if. But I'm here to tell you that Roderick Robinson and Andrew Paul, I like them a lot. But these 3 freshman running backs, like 2 of them, at least one of them, maybe 2 of them, are going to find their way on the field. You talked about it when you talked about the secondary. The good players play for Georgia. That's simply what they do. And Georgia's got 3 really good ones, some different skill sets, some different things that they bring to the table. Some more speed, elusiveness, quickness, versatility. Some of them more downhill, more power. I don't know. It's not going to be based on that. That's not going to be their style of running is not going to be what allows them to play. It's their ability to pick up the playbook, their ability to understand protection for the most important player on Georgia's team, which is Carson Beck.
That's it.
And their ability to make plays when they have the football in their hands. Georgia's got some guys at the running back position. I know it's not the highlight of the class because, there's no 5-star running back. There's no, there's no number 1 overall running back in the class. There's none of this. But this running back class, I think, is going to do some special things for the University of Georgia when all's said and done.
These 3 cats, and you described it. This is why. Let me help you out again, Georgia fan or fan of another program that want to say this. Well, one of them is going to transfer. I would just hold on to that because running backs are a different thing than what running backs were at another time. Travis Etienne is looking to come into Georgia with all this competition. You want to know why? Because we rotate backs a ton.
Yeah.
You don't want to get wear on their tread.
You want to be rotated as a back.
It's no longer the 35 times a game running back play. That's not it. You don't want that. I don't want that. And guess what? They don't want that. And guess what? NFL scouts don't want that because it's like NBA. You only have a certain amount of dunks in your life. Your knees have a cap. Once that cap's hit, you ain't jumping no more. Running backs are the same thing. However, useful to pass pro, screens, passing game routes. The game has expanded. And if you could get a skill set in there, these guys are going to get play. They're going to get rotation. They're going to be just fine. I'm with you, Daniel. These cats are something. Frazier is something different as well. He'd be my pick. If you were to tell me you get one out of these 3, it's going to be Frazier. But Bowens, by the way, it says 3. It says 3-star next to his name. But this just in really quick. Kirby Smart press conference said all these kids that we had worked out in front of the coaching staff for us. And I don't go off of anybody else's rating system.
No, he does not know it. He does not care about it.
That's wild to me. That's wild to me. So it's almost like these ratings are for people who don't matter. And I pay for subscriptions of people who don't.
The running back situation, I think, is a great point that you make. It's a different animal than it was. Let's talk about just case in point. James Cook was running back number 1 at Georgia for exactly 0 seconds of his college career.
How's he doing now?
At no point was he the number 1 back at the University of Georgia. He is now the number 1 back for the Buffalo Bills and doing just fine with his life. So you don't need it. You don't need it in college.
No.
They don't want you to be Derrick Henry in college and drag it because guess what? There ain't that many Derrick Henrys in this world. That's not who human people are. And so you're not going to find that in all these backs. So backs come in, they want an opportunity to compete and be a part of the rotation. And that's what they're going to get at Georgia. You're going to have, to your point, with the transfer portal ends, you're going to have potentially 7 healthy and very good running backs. And I'm here to tell you that one of the ones that's going to be getting carries next year is going to be a true freshman.
And I'm not going to fight him on it. I think he's dead right. He's dead right. Bowens, by the way, I know I said 3-star. He ain't no 3-star. Go look at the film. Go look at the tape. that dude's a baller. That dude is
All three of
holy
these
jeez.
guys. All
I
three
know,
of these guys can absolutely straight up
Okay, we
play.
need
Dwight
to-
Phillips is a blur on the field.
He is an
great.
absolute blur. White as well. Scovey
Yeah.
White is just a blur. Okay, let's end by saying this. This offensive line group, Daniel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What about?
I'm just going to use the term mauler,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the group identity.
Big ugly. I think it fits in nicely.
Another great term. Hog mollies. Like these cats are big, nasty. They don't give two nothings about nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel. This is, I think, a little bit of a shift. We have a cat from New Jersey, a big old tall drink of water from New Jersey. How's that worked out before? When we went and got a tackle from Jersey that's big and
all right.
athletic.
It's been all right.
Fine. I think this offensive line, you saw it already. You saw guys hitting the transfer portal once these guys signed, because I think you now have this signing group, Daniel.
Yeah.
This is your starting offensive line in a year. Like, here they are. Tate Ratledge going to be gone. Mims going to be gone.
Yeah.
Green going to be gone. And then all of a sudden you get down here and 6'5", 320 interior. That is, nobody really understands that until you're on the field.
6'5", 320, 6'7", 335, 6'8", 360. Like it 6'5.5", 335. Like, what are we doing with these people? We got guys from Marietta, Georgia. We got guys from Illinois. We got guys from New Jersey. We got guys from Texas. That's just the offensive line class. This class is like Kirby Smart has just said, we want all the good players. You're not recruiting, and I don't know who needs to hear this. I do, but I don't. No, you do. I don't want to say it.
You do.
You don't go recruiting in a horse and buggy anymore. You go recruiting in airplanes and helicopters, private jets. All of the players in America are on the table for Kirby Smart.
You're allowed to go out of your zip code now, Daniel.
Well, we need to lock down. Let me tell you what we need to lock down.
Please.
The best players in America. We need to lock down being a championship level program so that everybody and their brother wants to come play for Georgia. And that is who Georgia is right now. Everybody wants to have a Georgia hat on that table.
Yes.
Because you know why? People watch your little press conference thingy that you do when you have a Georgia hat on the table. Yep. People subscribe to your TikTok when you have a Georgia hat on the table.
Yep.
Everybody wants an offer from Kirby Smart. And that's why we're getting elite players from all over God's creation. That's why we've got guys from California. That's why we've got guys from Florida, from Texas, from Georgia, from Virginia, like from Indiana, like that, from Missouri. They're just like, you could go on and on and on. This class is loaded with talent.
Top to bottom.
Top to bottom. We got much more to say. There's plenty of guys that we haven't even mentioned yet. We haven't talked about this wide receiver class, which is going to need to be mentioned extensively.
Tuggle going to be a dude, just so y'all know right now.
We haven't talked about many guys from this class. We got much more to say about it, and we will be back to do that next time here on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. We'll see you guys then.
See you.